Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to another action figure review here in the month of Sharktober, as today we're going to be taking a look at the figure called The Shadow, released by Kenner in 1994. Now, for those who don't know who The Shadow is, to put it very briefly, he is basically the inspiration behind the well-known character Batman. He goes by the name Lamont Cranston, and he's basically the first original Bruce Wayne before we got the well-known Batman figure that we know today, the billionaire playboy. And if you've seen the 1994 movie The Shadow as well, you'll see that there's a lot of similarities to Batman. So that's actually really awesome to know that before there even was a Batman, we had The Shadow. And not to mention, if you have seen Batman the Animated Series, you will also know that this character is also the inspiration behind the character within that animated series episode called The Grey Ghost. So without wasting any more time, let's take a look at this figure and see how great it really is. Looking at his head sculpt, I will say that if you're familiar with The Shadow, he also had a lot of early comics and was a pretty pivotal character to the old times, and I'm not really sure the year that he came out with, but the style that they gave him is very, very unique. I mean, he does come with a top hat, and he does have a removable cloth cape, which we'll get into shortly, but I like how there's translucent eyes, which looks so badass, and it's kind of like something where you have to see within the sunlight, and then he has like this red bandana covering his nose or handkerchief, which is actually really, really awesome. And the reason why I say this is because he's very simple looking, but at the same time it offers this very mysterious type of character, and again, like very cryptic, and he hides within shadows, so no pun intended, but it's such a great looking character. And again, as simple as it is, it just offers a lot of great nostalgia to me because this is a figure and a movie that I watched constantly growing up as a kid, so I absolutely love it. There is some minor sculpting there by the head sculpts and the side of the ears and stuff, but other than that, the removable collar piece does play a pivotal role to the actual figure, which we'll get into shortly. But one of the things I do wished was this thing could have been clipped onto his chest, but it's for an old figure, so can't really expect much. Otherwise, it's pretty decent. The torso is pretty decent, as you can see some minor sculpting there in creases, and you can see there are some silver pins, and he does have two holsters there for his guns, which is pretty good because you can allow him to hold it because he does have trigger fingers right there, as you can see. And everything else is just pretty black, very minimal articulation, other than you can utilize the gimmick with the arms, where if you press both of his legs together, he does the fast draw action, which, as the figure is called, the lightning draw shadow figure. So pretty cool, nothing too crazy there, but I like it. And the weapons there are pretty nice. Now, they're not really snug fit or anything. I'm pretty sure I did this wrong, but I think it looks nice. I mean, they are sculpted pretty well, so that's cool. And then he does have a silver belt with a buckle there, not too bad. And you can see the overlaying flap there by the chest as well. So yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. And then the legs, there's no knee articulation other than just moving the legs up and down and just pressing them together to do the lightning draw action, but there's nothing else to it. You can see some creases by the knees, and then he does have the nice looking boots, which allows you to stand him pretty decently, but because it's Kenner, you know, he might fall over, but I don't know, it is what it is. And then he does have the cape, which is a very nice addition to the figure. And I just like how the interior has like red stitching, whereas the outer part of the cape is black, or dark red if you prefer, and it's connected to the back of the collar piece of the actual head sculpt or torso piece, so you will, and you can also remove it, but I like to keep it the way it is. So, and this is one of those figures where, like I said, I've played the hell out of it, and it's just one of my all-time favorite figures growing up as a kid. And watching the movie, I always would play with this figure while holding the action figure in my hand, and it's just one of the coolest things I've seen back then. I also want to emphasize that this figure does come with a Lamont Cranston alternate, figure where he is in his human form or just out of the bodysuit, which is pretty good, and I will get that at some point. And he does have all these other villains, and there are some vehicles attached to this figure as well. So one day I'll do a completed version where I have the vehicles, and I'll have the Lamont Cranston figure as well, where he's wearing his tuxedo, but this will do for now. So, and because it is the month of Sharktober, I thought this would be a great little, nod to the month and just kind of be excited about old school figures. So that is Lamont Cranston, aka The Shadow. Alright, you guys, so that was The Shadow, released by Kenner in 1994. And I want to thank you guys all for watching, especially during the month of Sharktober, and I'll see you all in the next episode.